two-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast with Chris, Dan, Bobby, and Tony, the Uncle Puckers. Let's go, Devils!
A fan of. I have to say, I'm not a fan of Dan not being here doing the intro because that just screwed me all up. But we are the Uncle Puckers. Tonight, Dan is down in Orlando visiting Mickey Mouse and going to drag shows at libraries. Oh, wait, no, they're not allowed to do that down there. And Bobby and Tony are with me. How's everybody doing today?
Doing well, man.
So you guys seriously going crazy like I am? I hate this time of year more than anything. There's just nothing going on. There's not even shit to talk about. There's no action.
I listened to you guys' really last show, and I gotta say I was bummed I missed it, but you guys did a good job on the last show, and
thanks,
you guys
Tom.
talked about
you're the best.
You guys did, man. I listened. I got
all
my
right.
download
We'll keep them around for another couple
download
weeks.
In, but I was bummed I wasn't there because there was. Do you guys notice that we've talked about this before? But everyone's fucking dying, man. I mean, it is unbelievable.
It is the ultimate statistic, Tom. You really can't get away from it.
Yeah, but at this time in our lives, right? I don't know about you guys. I signed on to Facebook and there's just someone dead. Someone just people just dropping like flies. Paul Rubens. I mean, I know you guys talked about it the last show. I wasn't here, but that was. I know he was 70 years old, but that dude did a lot of shit, man. People, we always think of him as Pee Wee, obviously, but he was also in Blow, Cheech and Chong, Mork and Mindy, Meatballs too. I mean, this guy had a kind of crazy career, and with him, I had a lot of respect for the dude, man, because the guy started, if you remember, he started out trying to get a job with Saturday Night Live and got declined. So what he did was basically he was in this thing called the Groundlings in the 70s, which was like this,
and he
started doing his Pee Wee routine, man, and then he gets busted, right? He gets busted in Sarasota for doing something that, I mean, it's what they do there at these places.
Are you talking about when he was beaten off in the movie theater?
Yeah, beaten off. And it made me think. I was telling my wife, which she actually didn't want to talk about this too much, but I was like, I remember when I was in. So I grew up in Brick, right? So I moved to West Virginia, for a few years before I went to high school with you guys. So I was
West
there for
Virginia
like 3 years.
and Florida, and explain.
Yeah, I've been all over the place.
It sure does.
All over. So I went from Brick to West Virginia, and we had this kid in our school there on the football team. He got caught doing this in the locker room, right? So this kid this is back at that age, he had a nickname. They used to call him Stroker Ace, right? People would pick on this dude. I felt so bad for this fucking guy.
It's legit.
And then he looked like 10
I don't
years
feel
later.
bad for him. He's jerking off in the fucking locker room.
Just hold it off, son.
Hey,
But
wait till
They
you
ends at 1:30.
But you get older, right? And who cares anymore? Someone's like, why are you late? Oh, you know what I was doing. I was at home practicing. Nobody cares. It's like, and this guy gets busted for doing something that you do at these places. And I just remember when he came back, like a couple years later on, I think it was the MTV Music Awards, and I think the first thing he said was like, heard any good jokes?
Yes,
and
I remember
I had
that.
to respect this dude, man. And
Look, I love Pee Wee. Pee Wee Herman was a part of our childhood. I absolutely, he will be missed, but that will be the last time, Tony, and I say this with the
Pee-wee.
fucking seriousness, that Meatballs 2 is ever fucking mentioned on this show again. Okay?
Yeah.
Meatballs the original.
What a drop
It was
from
shit,
Meatballs.
but it had Bill Murray in it.
Right.
Meatballs 2 had an alien named Meathead.
So Meathead.
Meathead, yeah. Meathead. It was the worst fucking sequel. It had nothing to do with the first one.
100% man.
Yeah, so this is this is done, right?
That's
we
it.
will never mention
Meatballs 2 never
2
comes up again.
ever again.
All right.
Now you're
I'm gonna bait Dan into saying it next show. We gotta kick him off.
I heard you guys had the word of the day. That'll be the word of the day.
But that was such a terrible movie. Now Blow, he was fantastic in. That's a great movie.
Cheech and Chong, Blues Brothers.
Yeah. Pee Wee was awesome.
History.
And I tell you, it's crazy how somebody who is, he is as famous as they come. I mean, I think that guy dresses up like Pee Wee. Anywhere he goes in the world, people know who he is. Nobody knew that he was sick, man. He kept that so close to his vest. Nobody knew he was sick, and
he put a letter up the day he was passing. I guess he gave a letter to somebody, and I read it. It was just basically like, "Sorry, I didn't tell you. Thanks for everything." And that was, you got to respect that, because a lot of people would probably be like on their Instagram all the time, being like, and I get it, it's fucking shitty situation.
Yeah, you want your
This guy
privacy.
kept it to himself. Yeah.
All right, let's try and talk about other things not death-related, Tony. There is a hockey season that's starting in a couple of months. And, let me ask you guys this. Like, I get annoyed at the national media because when it comes to football, because I feel like the Vikings are actually a lot better of a team than the national media likes to talk about.
And Chris, I did learn about your cousins. I didn't really know much about him until I started watching that thing you recommended on Netflix.
You watched some of Quarterback?
I got 2 episodes down, and I got 1 more to go. But yeah, I never really knew that much about the dude, and I actually appreciate him a little bit more.
I do too.
Josh Mahomes, though. I mean, I was watching him at first.
Who's Josh Mahomes?
Sorry about that.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes.
Who's Josh Mahomes? Is that his brother?
Patrick? No. Yeah, I think his brother, who's a dipshit.
And no, nobody likes his brother. Like, I don't know who his brother is.
No, do you know what happens is during the games, man, his brother will be tweeting out or, like, putting a bunch of tweets out or whatever it's called, X now.
X is now.
Yeah, X. It took me, like, 25 minutes that day to find the fucking app on my phone because I didn't know that, like, I was like, where's the bird at?
Where's the bird up? And my daughter's so mad that the bluebird's gone. She's so
what's
angry
up? I don't
about
understand it.
It's because Elon Musk is a fucking idiot. That's really all you need to know.
Yeah, it's like, but yeah, I watched that, and I got to say, man, like I was watching Mahomes, and I told my wife, I said, it's hard to hate him when you watch the guy. Like,
I agree.
But I watched him against some Raider footage, I was like, fuck him.
He's in your division. I get it. I like Patrick Mahomes, and I'll tell you, I was never a big Kirk Cousins fan, but I have a newfound respect for the man after watching that, and just like we all knew he was tough. I had no idea how tough he was, and when you keep watching it. You see the beating that this man took last season, and he missed one snap all year.
The last episode, he got his ass kicked. The last episode, it was like
the Washington game.
The Washington game where they won at the end.
Yeah. Now, they don't get the credit in the media, and that kind of annoys me. Now, the Devils this season seem to be the opposite. It is, and now we've always said, like, we've always been like, not thought of as. We're just never in the conversation. Everybody always just thinks the Devils are defense. Nobody likes them, blah, blah, blah. And we go back, we always say that, we don't get the respect that we deserve. I think we're seeing the complete opposite of that now. Like, everybody is picking the Devils. And I don't necessarily, like, they're going to be very good, absolutely. But I get nervous when that many people are on board. It's just like, it's. I kind of feel like, wait, that's our team. Like, we're okay. It's
Let
okay.
us worry about that.
It's okay if we say that they're going to bad or good or whatever, but you can't say it, But everybody is on this bandwagon, and it does make me a little nervous. It really does. Yeah, I mean, it does, right?
Did you hear what Dubnyk had to say on NHL Tonight? I think it was about a week ago, probably at least. He said they should put these guys on pay-per-view. They're going to be must-see TV about the Devils. And that's true. He's not, anointing them Stanley Cup champions, but that's a very true statement.
So, I heard Andy Strickland say this week that he picked up, I think it was 3 teams that he thinks is going to win the Cup in the next 3 years. And I know the Devils were one of them on there. And, that guy knows a lot of shit. I was really impressed. But everyone's saying the same thing. And the biggest question mark, we all know what it is. So,
Well, let me bring that around, okay? And tell me what you guys think. Now, when we got VTech last summer, we were all very excited because we were all done with Mackenzie Blackwood last year. I didn't want this guy back on the team, whatever. You got Vanacek, that's fantastic. And coming in, the scouting report, the knock against him was he's a very good regular season goalie, but if he gets too much time, he'll break down towards the end of the season, and he'll shit his pants in the playoffs. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, kind of verbatim.
Yeah. And he didn't just shit his bed in one series. He shit his pants in 2 series. He shit his pants against the Rangers, and then he pooped them again.
And we're going to give you a week off.
Yes.
Get your head straight. You're going to start you again against Carolina. And, how many goals you let in?
Yeah. So
you're right.
The playoff performance and the last maybe third of the season, Vitek was not himself. Not what we saw for 2/3 of the season. And he was remarkable. 30-plus wins. He played fantastic. And so the question is this. The team built the way it is built to win now. Yes, we know that there are going to have some dudes up in especially we're replacing 50% of our defensive, our blue line. So it is going to take 20, 30 games maybe for everything to start clicking. But I think they have the offensive power to get them through that, no problem. But my question is this. Can the Devils win a Stanley Cup with Vitek Vanacek as the goalie? Now, before you answer, take off the homer glasses. This has nothing to do with you loving this team. Put your analyst glasses on. We've all watched and broken down enough hockey in our lives to talk honestly. Can they win a cup with Vitek Vanacek?
Is the hesitation a sign here, I think?
I mean, it must be. You guys are not sure.
Listen, I was so excited when we got him, right? And for what he did, again, during the regular season, that was warranted. I had heard about his playoff, performance, but I also recall it being a very small sample size.
Right.
So I was willing to kind of throw that out. It did happen again, twice, like you said, 2 different rounds. I think under normal circumstances, I'd be able to say, listen, these kind of things happen. It doesn't mean it's going to happen again next year. That goalie's still in there. You know what I mean? That guy who can make those saves is still in there. So what's the difference? So for that reason, I'm going to say, yes, we can in the modern day NHL, but I'm old school and I go with my gut. And my gut says it's not a money goalie in the playoffs. So that does worry me.
So you're leaning. Well, real quick, Tone. You're leaning no. They can't win a cup with Vitek.
No, listen. Gun to my head, this team can win a Stanley Cup with Vitek. It'd just be quite a lot harder if we had somebody with, a little more playoff experience or a little more. I don't know, that
mental
edge.
fortitude.
Yeah, there you go.
And what about you, Tony?
I'm not sold that they can, actually. I'm not ready to, and I know we've talked about this before, I'm not ready to write off Vanacek yet. The guy's only played 131 games his whole career. If you look at his actual overall record, he's got 74 wins, 33 losses.
But we know what he can do.
At his age, but look at his age, right? We talked about this on past episodes. Sometimes goalies develop later. So if he's, a big thing is, now, if Vanacek plays like he can during the regular season, and Schmidt is as good as we think he could be, that tandem right there, yes, we can win a Stanley Cup, I believe. Problem is, we've seen, obviously, this playoffs was a rough one. We saw basically the goaltending fizzle out. But I do believe that if this just happened out of coincidence, that this just happened to be really bad timing, with that tandem, we can win a Stanley Cup. And I think the tandem is the thing. But I'm not willing to write off Vanacek yet.
Okay, so what would it take for you to say, no, they can't win a Stanley Cup with Vitek? Another shitting the bed in the playoffs.
Next playoffs, yeah, that would kind of be like
And the concerning part is, even though I said we could, it wasn't that he got beat in the playoffs and outplayed. The volume of goals that went in was ridiculous. I have never seen that in all my years watching play. And Schmidt had a couple games like that too, where it was like 7 and 8 goals in the playoffs is unheard of.
Yeah.
Also, remember the team also folded kind of during a lot of those games.
Yes, but here's the thing: the team can't play. The team didn't play great, but the goalies gave them no chance in the losses. They had no chance. Before in the Rangers, the first 2 games,
right.
3-4-0 before you
Except
fucking
for the games that Schmidt stole.
Yeah.
And then those buildings got involved, and that aura just came out, man.
And
they weren't winning those games.
And then Game 3 at the Garden, Akira Schmidt comes in, plays lights out, gives the team a chance to win. Took an overtime to do it, but he gave the team a chance to win. Vanacek didn't do that at all in these playoffs. And Vanacek had his struggles big time against Carolina, too, but that mental fortitude he definitely showed in that Ranger series. Vitek, for some reason, just seems like he can't do anything in the playoffs. Now, I like both of your points, and Tony, you make very good points. It's only 130-something games. Goalies do develop later.
How many underperform? We didn't have just one underperformer in the playoffs. We had a lot of, where are you guys?
Sure.
Had guys that even got under the blank. There was guys that we don't even talk about that much who had a pretty rough playoff.
And that makes me a little bit nervous too, because how many more years do they need till they're ready to win? And I don't just mean that the team's built. When these players actually know we're ready to win a cup, and we're going to do everything we can to do that. Last year was a lot of feeling out, a lot of, guys' first time, and in the Ranger series, I thought what happened after that Ranger series was the complete opposite of what I thought. I thought they're going to beat the Rangers, and that's going to put a rocket up their ass, and they're going to move forward. It took everything out of them.
But we did say that could have happened, right? We were like, it's either
yeah.
go
I
one
didn't
way or
think it
another.
would. I didn't think it would, but yeah, you guys did say that, and I didn't agree, and you guys were all right. Whoever, I know you said it, Tone, that there is that possibility that it's just going to be way too
so much energy put into the
too much emotion, too much everything for this young squad, and that's where having that goaltender that can just settle shit down comes in handy. Now, I don't think that this team can win a Stanley Cup with Vitek Vanacek. I really don't. It's just I how bad he was in those playoffs worries the shit out of me. Now Schmid, the verdict is still out, and I think it's unanimous on this show. The four of us really like Akira Schmid and really want to see him, be the starter in a couple of years, the number one. But there's talk of, we've said it a million times, talk of him starting in Utica and who. I just think that if you're Tom Fitzgerald, that you have a good shot of competing for a cup this year with this lineup, I just think you got to maybe do something in goal, because I just worry that we're going to have a 110-point year, first or second in the Metro. And I think you could do all these things with Vanacek. I think you can win the Metro with Vanacek. I think you can even possibly win a President's Trophy with Vanacek. I think you could be the
without
best.
Vanacek, we don't get to the playoffs last year. I believe.
I agree with you.
Sure.
I agree with you 100%. I think you can do all those things. But what is it that's that mental block with this dude that come playoff time, he forgets how to play goal? I don't want to go into the playoffs next year and be bounced in round one or maybe round two because our goaltending just wasn't up to par. It's like you only have I know that everyone's, the window's open, the window's just opening. Okay, well, Connor McDavid hasn't won a cup yet, has never played for one. It's been 8 years now. If you don't make, and what's one of their big things? The blue line and the goaltending. I just worry about the Devils getting themselves in that kind of situation where I feel like, and I know Tom Fitzgerald, if this year we had the same problems come postseason, he would definitely, do something next summer to straighten it out. The other thing that worries me, though, is I don't want to go and trade for one at the trade deadline. I don't want a new guy coming between the pipes at the trade deadline, teams figuring out how to play in front of him, all this other shit, fucking chemistry up. I don't want that. If you're going to make a move, I'd rather them do it within the next 60 days before training camp starts. What do you guys think?
If you're going to make a move?
Well, do you think that it's something that, are you okay this year with running with Vanacek? Do you feel like this team, let me start with this. Do you think that this team right now is built and ready as is to win a Stanley Cup?
I believe the team is built and ready to go very deep. I actually can see them winning the Stanley Cup, but I wonder more if, we always say in Fitzgerald we trust, right? I wonder if he's legitimately can sit back in his office calmly and say, we might do pretty well next year, but I don't think we're ready for the Cup until 2025. And that's when we'll get the goalie before and give the goalies another year this year. I wonder how the mindset is, because I'm sitting here as a fan going, we can win the Cup next year. And you do want it. I don't
but you're
know,
right,
man.
though. You have to look, if you're a general manager of a team, or you're in any type of management with the team, you have to look at everything, and you have to be honest with yourself. That's a big part of it. Is there what? We are very young, maybe another big run in the playoffs to really, maybe this team has to lose again before they figure it out. Maybe not. And it's interesting, and maybe.
I like what you say, Chris, about the chemistry thing, though, because that is one thing, and I know a lot of people think, you have to get the best players all this and all the time, but it is about not messing up that. We talked about Boston, right, when they started adding guys at the end of the season last year, and it could fuck up the chemistry. It's
especially in goal.
Placement. It's a puzzle, you got to get, at 95 season, right? Peluso might not have been the best guy here, but this guy filled that spot. Everyone filled like a puzzle, and I think the chemistry is a big thing. And if you can get that chemistry right, you're fucking gelling.
I'm all about the puzzle pieces too. I've said that before too, but also I'm about like the statistics where if you are just a little bit better than the guy below you, could change the game. So like if you're a goalie that gives up, 2.5 goals a game versus a goalie that's 2.1, well, that 1 or 2 points over a long period of time is another win or two.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. But the problem where that analogy doesn't even work here is we're not talking about taking Vanacek from a goals against average of 3 and Hellebuck to 2. We're talking about a goals against average of 7.
Yeah.
And you really can see where you want to maybe close that gap.
And see, a guy like Hellebuck, I would love, 3 guys that I would really be super happy with if we went and got.
And one's gone now, right?
Well,
Swayman's
Swayman and Olmark are 1, 2 that I would be totally fine with. I mean, whether or not Boston decides that they're going to keep both of them this year, or if they do decide to move off of one of them, whatever. I saw talk of who was it? It was Hellebuck going to it was one of our teams. I can't remember. I got to find the article, but I just think that. Like those 2 guys would be fantastic, and I'm only saying that because there has been rumors that maybe Boston is looking to possibly move one of them. I really like Swayman and Hellebuck, but Hellebuck I think changes the dynamic of this team. I mean, I think that when you put a guy the caliber of Hellebuck behind those guys, I just think they can win a cup this year if they all stay healthy and things work out with him. I mean, this guy faces anywhere from 35 to 40 something shots a night. He's not going to see that kind of rubber with the Devils. The Devils, even with the young D, like just the way the Devils play, you get goal support. They can definitely score goals. They're going to just hold on to that puck for the majority of the game. What's Hellebuck have to make? 20, 25 saves a night? I mean, there's a piece of me that's like, this dude should have shutouts every night playing for a really good team like the Devils.
There's no denying that you had a top 5 goaltender league. It's going to catapult any team.
Sure.
It can do even more for this team. Because like we've said, this team can overcome a lot of mistakes. So we're not asking you to steal every game. We're asking you to steal one once in a while.
Right. Now
that's all we need. And then be solid the rest of the time.
Think about this. Like, we had the greatest goalie in the world of all time that played for us. And he played on teams that just, for the most part, didn't score goals. Which, you love your Burke. But Brodeur played for mostly teams that they didn't score goals. I mean, I remember the first game I ever saw Brodeur play was 1993 or 94. It was against the Lightning, and it was a 3-2 win. Like, that's Brodeur and the Devils in that time. It was 2-1. It was 3-2. He was just making sure that, he didn't give you anything. And he knew this team could only score 3 goals. I can only let in 1 or 2, and he did it most nights.
Nice, man.
We never had... Now, picture how good the Devils would have been with this offense with Brodeur backstopping them. Now, I kind of feel... I'm not comparing Hellebuck to Brodeur, but that caliber of goaltender, that a guy that is just, like you said, top 5 in the league.
It's a touch above.
Yeah. That is just that good with a team that can score like the Devils do and possess the puck the way the Devils do. I keep going back to Hellebuck. I keep going back to... I hate the idea of paying a guy that kind of money, a goalie. I really do.
Yeah.
But
that's what I've been against the whole time. I mean, it's not his skill level. Every episode we've said, I've said the same thing. The money's just it scares me at the end of the day when it's going to fuck up the Devils' war in a couple of years.
I'll tell you what it'll probably fuck up. If they were to go and get Hellebuck and sign him for any kind of term, it's going to be Mercer. There's no way you're going to... What'd you say, Bob?
You can't. Yeah, it's going to fuck up Mercer.
There's no way you're going to be able to pay Mercer $5-6 million a year and pay Hellebuck $8.5, $9. Now, as much as we all love...
Because fucking Mercer, look at him. He played every game last year. I believe he played every game. The guy is only going to get better. He put in over 20 goals last year, and it's only going to exceed. So I'd hate to see. I know it would feel good this year coming up, but I believe that we have so much more to see out of Mercer because he just has so much. I've never seen a guy with that much hockey sense in the last couple of years come up out of the system. This guy just knows. He has so much hockey sense.
I love him, but here's the other thing: like he has this year left. If Fitzgerald wants to try and sign him to an extension now, he can. And we don't know where Mercer stands. Mercer might want to say, I'm gonna play out. I'm gonna have this lame duck season. I'm gonna play my ass off, and I'm gonna go get paid somewhere. $6.5, $7 million a year. That's what if that's what he's looking for. This is reckless speculation. I don't know what Dawson Mercer wants to do. But I'm saying, if you're Tom Fitzgerald and you think there is a chance that this guy can walk, or he's not interested in looking for an extension right now and is waiting, and you're just sitting there, I, again, hate to get rid of him, but if that's a piece that you might have to move to get a guy like Hellebuyck and then be able to afford a guy like Hellebuyck, we'll all miss Dawson Mercer, but if in the next year or two the Devils win a Stanley Cup, you're going to just...
That changes everything.
Yeah, it changes everything.
It changes everything.
The Cup changes everything. In an ideal world, if you could do like a bridge with Mercer in the $4 million range and get a guy like Hellebuyck for a 3 or 4 year, so the math can work out long term, so then when he's getting ready to leave, now Mercer gets his $6-7 million a year and stays with us for another 7. That would be great, but that's fantasy type stuff.
Yeah.
You don't always know how that's going to work out. I'm really concerned about paying a goaltender $8.5-9 million a year.
So am I.
But I will say this to you. Right now, I think there's no reason the Devils can't be considered a team that could challenge for the Stanley Cup. Does my gut say they're going to win next year? Not really. I think they could be awfully close. And if they won it wouldn't surprise me. But if you told me tomorrow we signed Hellebuyck, I will now be surprised if we don't win the Cup. So that is kind of the difference. I mean,
what do you guys think is the biggest? So this offseason, right? I mean, if you really had and if you really think about it, what is the biggest thing we've done this offseason? What's the biggest addition, or let's not go subtraction wise. Let's go. What do you think is the? So there's a guy I think that I'm thinking that is really going to have a hell of a year this year.
you're thinking an under the radar guy in Toffoli, aren't you?
Yeah, I really am, man. I mean, this guy, if he could put up 30 points,
great
he had
pickup.
30 goals in Calgary, right? This guy could be a 30 or 40 goal scorer for us. I mean,
Sure.
you're replacing what? You got Sharon Govich and a pick, right? So, I mean, you stole this guy. I mean, this could be a move that...
I was reading an article. It was I forget who wrote it. So it was should Fitzgerald sign Toffoli to long-term deal now? And he made his points for and against. I thought about it. I don't think that you should sign him now. I think you got him for this year. We do have a deep pipeline. We have. Yep. Let's see how this year goes before we start handing out $7 million.
That's why he's a perfect
$7
fit
million contracts.
at 1 year. Yep.
Right. And if you feel like, maybe through March and this guy's got, 75, 85 points, maybe, 25, 30 goals, and he fits in with this team and everything's good and you like what you see, then you could say maybe, in the wintertime, hey, look, you want a 2-year extension, whatever it is. I think you got to see what you have. I do think it was a remarkable pickup and completely off of everybody's radar. Like, Tyler Toffoli was not a name I heard to New Jersey. And then out of nowhere, I think he can have a massive season. And playing out in Calgary, it's not like we watched these guys a lot. But what I've seen of Tyler Toffoli, he's going to fit in very good with this team.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that we were going to wake up one day and there's another 27-goal scorer thrown on the wing? It's like, Jesus, how can we even do that?
It really is
awesome.
And the lineup is so nice that it kind of goes under the radar a little bit. You kind of, you start looking at Hughes, you're looking at, this and that, and it's like, but there's this guy who can have a really big year this year. Because Tatar, I think, put up 20. Yeah, I mean, you're replacing Tatar. I think he put up 20 goals last year. This guy's going to put, I believe that Toffoli's going to put over 30 easy.
I'm shocked that Tatar has not been signed yet. I really am. And I think that there could still be a case made that he comes back to the Devils.
If you got no other offers, come training camp,
and if you are looking
take a low salary to come join,
and if you invite these guys into training camp, maybe Holtz isn't showing you what you want to see, and maybe Foote needs another year down in the AHL. I mean, if you could throw Tatar on with Hala and Palat in that third line, that's a hell of a checking line. That's a really good checking line.
Sure is.
And so I think that's a possibility, but I think the biggest move done this summer is Timo Meier. I mean, we have Timo fucking Meier. We name all this other stuff, and then you have Timo Meier. Yeah. And, like you said, Jack Hughes, Tyler Toffoli. This team is very loaded. And I just get anxious because I'm like, if we don't do something in goal, we're going to waste this year, and I don't want to waste this year.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chris, because that's the biggest move to me because we gave up a lot to get him. There was no guarantee. He's a very high salary guy. You really got to – that's got to be a perfect marriage.
Yeah.
Because you got a guy who wants to make a ton of money. You got a team that, Jesus, just wants to freaking win and win the cup. And to get it done and not have that cloud over – imagine if we didn't get it done.
We thought
my God!
There was a period of time during those exit meetings that we were like, I don't.
You do know that the old Devils, like how nothing ever goes our way. Like this never would have happened, in another date in the past. Like, yeah, but I'm just saying, even I remember getting Dougie Gilmore, and we were hoping that he'd sign, and he walked, and it was like this shit never happens to us, where a guy comes here and lights it.
Now.
What's that?
I think most of us on the show, we didn't think we'd logistically have the chance to sign both Timo and Brat. We were like, I think it's going to be one or the other. I think we've said that a few times. Maybe we didn't all agree with it. It's not only said both of them, then we turn around and get to Foley too.
Yeah.
And we're still talking about a goaltender. That might be something Fitzgerald's not even thinking about. We don't really know, but.
And
I think he's
now
thinking
that, our name comes up and players want to come here, right? We're not used to this. Like now it's like New Jersey's a spot where you're like, hey, I could win a cup here. Especially if you get 2 years, shit. I mean, I'm not sold that we're going to win this year. Of course not. But I do think I think it's almost 50-50 that we could win this year. I mean, I think there's going to be a couple things that go hand in hand to get us to that. But I believe that, if I'm a player, man, New Jersey now looks like a place that I want to go.
Well, I got a chart here that might back that up a little bit if you guys are interested. So it's just about the amount of money spent by each team this offseason.
Well, let me just make this one quick point, and then we'll go to that, because I think that we all sit here and we thank Tom Fitzgerald for this wonderful team that he's assembled and how excited we are for this season, when really, not just him, Jack Hughes. Yep. Jack Hughes being a fucking team player, being a dude who's
100%.
like, I know who I am, and I'm worth $12 million a year. You can take your $8 million and stick it up your ass. No. If I pay you $8, then I can build this team around you. And what do you really want to do? I want to win a cup, and that's it. And Jack,
and
Hughes,
then he can make the statement like he made, sign the deal.
Yeah,
he knew what he was talking about with these players.
Yeah,
he will get paid one day. So Jack Hughes don't worry about shit.
His second contract's going to be huge. But yes, you're right.
This is a legacy player now.
This is a guy
he'll get the Crosby money and he'll retire here.
He wants to be the greatest Devil ever, and he probably will be. But him being a guy who understands the business and knows, $8 million, and I'm more than happy with that.
I know we brought this up before. I've said it specifically. We haven't had a player like that since Martin Brodeur.
Yeah.
He did the same goddamn thing. He could have left for $4 million more a year back then, and he understood, hey, I'm still making a ton of money, and we can build a team, and he got 2 more cups from it.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it comes down to.
Superstars to do that.
Elias was the same way, guys like that, man.
Yep.
But you don't get in the Hockey Hall of Fame because you got the most money. And that's the fucking truth, and guys like Hughes know that, and I think he needs to be extreme. Like, we got to understand, like, he is a big part of this, man, just because he's just a fucking consummate team player. I love the kid.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no doubt about it. He is.
He's Jack Hughes is pretty fucking cool. I'm so happy that he's on this team because the character that he brings to this team makes the Devils cool.
I loved it from day one when he was like 17 or 18 at the draft, whatever it was, just the way he was like, let's go, baby. I loved his brashness. Right away, people were already digging into this guy. I'm like, leave him alone. He's an excited young kid. He knows he's going to come in. He knows he's going to be the face of the Devils, like, for years.
I'm not going to lie, though. I like his fucking, when he does when this guy gets interviewed, man. Do you ever see it? This guy does not want to fucking be there. It's funny as shit almost. He's just like, I just want to play hockey. They're just like, and then when you ask him questions, it's like, I just put me on the ice. Like, I just think it's kind of cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we could say about Jack. Nothing but love for Jack Hughes on this show forever.
That's it.
I mean, he's just fucking amazing. But so, Bobby, what do you got?
If he wants to come on the show, go ahead, Jack.
I would love to have Hughes on this show. That'd be fun.
I mean, I don't know.
We'll let his brother on, too. They could both.
That might be reaching for him. I don't know if he wants to, take it down a notch.
Well, on account that we can't get anybody on the show, I highly doubt that Jack Hughes would come on.
It's happening,
but
baby.
It is an open invitation to number 86.
I mean, you and Dan got me and Tony.
That's
something,
true,
right?
That's true. And I got Dan, so I guess we're good. So, good. All right, what do you got, Bob?
No, just the simple thing I saw about the most money spent this offseason by team. Does anyone want to guess what team
Toronto
spent the
Maple
most?
Leafs.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
All right, let's see. The Toronto Maple Leafs are... Wow, I can't even find them. Hold on. No.
So they're not number one.
They are in the third tier.
Okay, let me keep guessing.
With $41.9 million spent this offseason.
Anaheim or LA?
Okay, Anaheim is close. They are fifth
How about
Okay.
Carolina?
with 105. LA is fourth with 109. Carolina is
Yes.
second with 140 million.9.
Carolina, huh? Who's three?
Number 3 is the Islanders.
Okay,
At
that kind of makes sense.
140.1.
They're Sorokin to that big deal, and okay, so
Yeah.
we still don't know who number one is. It's not the Devils, is it?
It is the Devils.
Okay,
Is it?
all right.
The Devils, 154.7 million committed this offseason.
That's a lot of money.
I've never seen that before for a hockey franchise. There's nothing much else that stands out here. I mean, the least amount spent was Dallas. They've got a pretty solid team.
Dallas
Kraken looks like they're around 10th.
I think Dallas is going to
Pittsburgh.
be very good this year.
Yeah.
And
I got something
for
for
sure.
you guys.
what do you got,
You
Dan?
guys want.
Dan, Tony? Sorry, I miss
I don't
Dan.
know. I'm not very good.
I got Dan
I'm
on
not
my
very-
mind.
I'm not very good with the English language, so you know. But I got this thing off. It was there's a couple of these around, but I pulled this one from HockeyFood.com. It's the basically the 15 worst fan bases.
The
right?
worst,
Like,
15
the
worst
worst.
fan. Like,
Yeah,
do they mean
it's-
like? Let me just ask. Like, do they mean worst fan base?
annoying
Like,
as fuck.
okay, that's what I'm asking. Like, not like
Not
they
empty
don't
seats.
they don't show
No,
up
no,
for
no,
the
right.
game or they don't support the
annoying
team. You're
as
just saying
fuck.
they're
That would
assholes.
probably be the Panthers, I would guess, in the regular season. But do you want me to go from the top down? Or you want me to go back?
How many are there?
Go up to
15.
1, I think.
There's 15. All right,
Yeah.
yeah. So go 15 to up to 1, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll start guessing when it gets closer to the
Yeah.
top.
We'll wait till we get to the top like 5 or 6. We'll start guessing.
So, you know, this team, I actually was at a game a couple seasons ago, and the Devils were playing them. I went to go see the Devils, me and my wife. The Devils were down 3-1 in the going into the third, and these fans were talking so much shit. Like, you know, I mean, it was just like, it's a kind of a cocky fan base, and I get it. I think they feel kind of entitled to for the last few years. I think you guys know where I'm going with this.
Oilers?
So
Tampa.
Tampa.
Oh,
the Devils
okay.
score. The Devils pick up 4 goals, win the game. I don't know if you guys might remember the name. Mercer scored. Sharangovich had 2. Blackwood actually played that night.
You know-
those fans were so fucking like they couldn't. How are we losing to Jersey? They're like, because this is when Jersey was kind of the record was not that great. I think we had that was the 7-goal a year, I believe.
Okay, so
Oh,
that's 2
going on.
seasons ago.
Yeah, so it was 2 seasons ago we were over there. But Tampa is not number 15, and I kind of get it because they've been done nothing but win lately. You know, I mean, I don't know what you guys think about their fan base, but
I don't know much of their fan base. I never went down to their games,
Yeah.
but I mean the ones that we used to see at the Rock, or not the Rock, or the old Continental, like nobody like really made any kind of fucking. You know, I don't remember them. Like nobody made any kind of difference in my game experience. But I see though that Lightning fans are a lot like Patriot fans. Like it's already like the Patriots haven't been good in a couple of years, and they're seriously like all their Patriot fans. And I work with a couple are like, I can't fucking believe this. We suck. You know, like, dude, how many Super Bowls do you need? Shut up
Yeah.
and let other teams freaking win. Nobody is going to feel bad for you and your 6 fucking
Yeah.
Lombardis. All right, so
Yeah.
fuck off. And I feel like I'm seeing that with some Lightning fans now. They'll call in and that they lost last year round 1 to Toronto, and how could that be? Like, you can't win the cup every year, especially when you're getting older.
Well, see,
and I
they
give
got
them
a
credit.
fan
They
base
sell
that
out that stadium. They sell
Right.
out that stadium
Yeah.
every fucking game.
They got a fan base that have seen basically nothing but winning for a long period of time, and a lot of young people that have no idea what comes at the end of that to almost every team.
Yeah.
You can hang on for a while, but ultimately you're going to have a rebuild. You're going to have several years of just bad play normally.
Well-
they're kind of heading that way.
You know, I
When I
gave you
first
guys real quick. I
Focus.
gave you guys some like preliminary questions before I gave you guys the first 15 that we did the other night. Well, on the second 15, here's a preliminary one. This is on this list. Do you think that the Tampa Bay Lightning have another Stanley Cup run in them? This team built as is, like within the next couple of years, do you think they can make another run, or do you think they're done?
With Vasilevsky and Cooper as the coach, I can't say they don't. They can't put something together because that goalie he is a guy who can carry you. He is a superstar goalie. Like, he is the superstar goalie in that league right now.
Yeah.
So,
What do you think?
him out.
I mean, my gut right away was no. There's just too many other up-and-coming teams that are just starting to take over and gain the momentum. But he's got a great point. It's kind of like Brodeur in 2012. Like, that was awfully close. You know, it didn't happen, but it was awfully close. But
I think they do.
I don't see it.
Oh, I do. I can see them making a cup final this year. Like, I see a world where that can happen. Like, they still have the guts of the team together. Cooper is an amazing coach, and Vasilevsky, like Tony said. I don't think they're cooked just yet. We'll see how this year
goes. And they're
goes.
a team.
They're close,
They're a team that people want to go to. They are a team that they are on one of the top on the list because of the living conditions around there. In Tampa itself, like, as a player, you're going to live very well there. The weather's nice year round. They just like it. But I remember going to the Tropicana Field where the Rays play, used to be called the Thunderdome. When I first moved to Tampa, that's where they were playing at. They had Darren Prupa in goal, Roman Hammerlick, you know.
Yeah, sure.
But the team always had fans. You know, I got to say, they had a great following. I remember when they went to the playoffs against Philly.
Yeah, Tampa's a good sports city.
Yeah,
it is.
It does love its sports, you know.
All right, so let's go. We got number 14.
Number 14, a team that we're going to grow to hate, I believe. And Eric Halla caught some shit this week or last week for wearing a bracelet. Carolina, right? I mean, love the Whalers memories, but I'm not a Carolina fan. And
I mentioned this a couple months ago. I've hated them since like 2006 or whatever. Ever since that playoff series, I just cannot like them. We said separated by a decade, right, or more, and I still don't like them. It seems like they just have our number in the playoffs. It's weird.
It does, and I do think, though, they're going to be, within the next probably 4 years, there's going to be, I think, a couple of really, really good playoff series between us and them, because I think they are two of the best teams in the league. But I think that Carolina's window is starting to close a little bit, and I know they picked up, who'd they pick up? O'Reilly, right?
Done a lot of shit. Yeah.
No, not O'Reilly. He went to Nashville. Who the hell did they pick up? They picked up like a decent winger. I can't remember who it is, or a centerman, forward. God. But anyway, I still don't know where they're getting their scoring from. But I could agree that Carolina fans are assholes. I'm cool with that. Let's move on.
Yeah, they may become the next couple of years. They may be more of a rivalry than the Rangers for us the next few years, because the Rangers might be going the opposite way a little bit, right?
We all know their fans are assholes. So
yeah, the next team, I don't really know much about their fans. I've worked for a few of them back in the day, and they were okay. But St. Louis Blues.
Yeah,
that surprises me a little bit.
And this is not our list, everyone. This is just one I'm reading. So
right. Yeah, what's this list from? Give a shout out.
Hockeyfood.com.
Okay. So St. Louis, I guess I could see that. I mean, all fans can be assholes. I mean, we were assholes when we went to the game sometimes. You know, I get that.
And this will pertain to the next one. This will be the next one, actually. But Chris just said we were assholes back in the day because, and I'm going to say this: I love my Devil fans, my friends who are Devil fans. But I do, unfortunately, with the Uncle Pucker show, I am on Twitter a lot, or the other formats of this thing, and we could be annoying too because the New Jersey Devils are number 12 on the list.
Yeah,
annoying fans.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you an annoying Devil fan story.
It's a badge of respect.
We were at a playoff game, right? It was me, it was myself, Bob. I think it was just me, Bob, and there was one other dude with us. I'm not going to mention his name on the air.
I know who it is, yep.
And we were playing Toronto, and it was...
remember it like yesterday.
Yeah. So a bus was there, like, of all Maple Leaf fans. They were, well, because our age, we were like in our early 20s, 23, 24. Right, so we're in the parking lot of Continental, and everybody's drinking. They got fucking music playing, jumpy houses, and all kinds of shit around the stadium. And there's about, I would say, 15 Toronto fans sitting on the curb in front of...
just having a good time.
Had a flag. They were really, they were having fun. The one guy we were with grabs a fucking bottle of beer, shakes it up with his thumb over it, walks up to these guys...
Unprovoked,
and sprays them all with a fucking beer. Now, Bob and myself were mortified. Like,
yes.
Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, what are you doing? Like, we bought them beers and we were bullshitting with them.
And we wound up hanging out with them, dude.
Luckily, they were super nice and we had a good time with them and stuff. But yes, Devil fans are assholes. There you go. There's a first-hand account, and we almost got thrown out because. Another game that I was at with him, and I think you were there too.
I was there.
The Skittles, and he was throwing Skittles at the back of some fucking whoever we were playing, and they were a fan of the team at the back of the guy's head, just being a douchebag. So yeah, Devil fans.
I mean, as we're literally telling him too, like, dude, cool it. Like, there's really no reason to be doing this at all.
Right. You know,
rough.
like you draw, but you draw and you make it fun. You have a good time. You know what I mean? Like you want to talk shit, you talk shit, but you have fun with that other person.
I don't know that anyone's had more friendly conversations with rivals than we have.
Yeah, I agree.
Devils games, like we just get into it and talk it out, and it's just fun.
I like, to
and then
always,
you can rib them for real. You know what I mean?
And that's why I like talking to rivals too. Like, how did you get into being like, especially if you're in Jersey and you're wearing a fucking Coyote, you know, jersey, and you're at a Coyote game, and I'm like, I like to pick those dudes' brains. Like, are you from there? Like, how are you a Coyote fan? Like, and you know, you find out that they're just people that love hockey like us, and they're just cool people that you want to hang out with and have a beer with. But yeah, some fans are just douchebags.
Yeah, there's like every team has them, man. You know, I see it all the time. I always hate, like, I would go to some Lightning games, or I would go to some Panther games, or, you know, Flyer, and it's just like I would bring, like, say if I brought my nephews with me, right? I'm like, man, these people are just leave us the fuck alone. Like, you know, I get it. But
Philly has to be number one, right? I mean,
Philly's okay. So Philly's actually, we could go right into this. Philly's number 11, and this is a team who they got some memorial bracelets to them, right? And they were throwing them on the ice because they were pissed off. This is the kind of crowd that's like, even the Eagles. Like, there's actually like videos on.
They always throw shit.
Yeah, that's what they do.
That's their thing. Yeah.
It's a rough group, right? I mean,
yeah, you don't. I mean, you know, living where we live, like if you were going to Philly to watch a game and be a fan of the opposition, you just go in street clothes. You don't wear your jerseys. You just don't need the bullshit, and that's it, you know. But and if they score or a touchdown or a goal, quietly cheer to yourself. Don't make a spectacle of anything, because they'll throw you off of the balcony and to the fucking field.
Yeah, they tell you don't wear your jersey to the stadium.
Yes, they're not nice. You know? All right, so Philly's.
Now, Bobby, aren't you surrounded by? You're surrounded by Flyer fans, aren't you?
I'm surrounded by all of them. I gotta tell you, like, I got a quick Philly story. So I was given tickets to go, like, when I first moved there, so something like 07, 08, right around the time where the Mets tanked and they wound up winning, so it was like this big thing.
Sure.
And I was still smoking back then. They had like a roped off kind of area, because it's, you know, inside, outside, and, you know, baseball. I was just there minding my own business, and there was like 3 or 4 kids that just started jawing at me from like the other side. And they're just cursing at me. They're telling me to leave. They're legitimately starting with me. And they're approaching me, like, step by step. And I look for my buddy. He's nowhere to be found. He's getting a hot dog or whatever. I'm like, I am legitimately here alone right now. I'm looking at other people around. Nobody's doing shit.
Oh,
and
God,
these, like,
man.
4 younger kids are just literally coming up to me like they're ready to swing. I said nothing. I was just wearing my Mets jersey. I think we were losing like 7-1. Like, it didn't even matter. And, you know, thankfully, finally, like, somebody, like, my age now, right?
Back then was like, came out and saved
you guys back it up, you know? I was just like, holy shit, like, I'm doing nothing. I'm about to get, like, jumped over here. So, yeah, it can be pretty rough. I won't take my kid there for a Devils game. I said, you want to go watch hockey? By all means, I'll throw on my USA jersey. We'll go down there. We'll watch hockey. We'll watch any game. You don't watch a Devils game? We're going to Newark.
Yeah.
So I've been to Phillies
I don't want
games,
to hear
but
the
I don't remember how
join.
the Phillies
My
games
kid.
are.
No,
I remember the hockey games are awful. I know
It never used to be bad, dude. I used to go to Phillies Mets games because it was cheaper and easier to go to. So I was quite surprised when I was like, literally in trouble.
They can't help it. It's like it's born and they're bred that way. It's like, you know, if you're from Philly, you gotta fucking have a love affair with Rocky Balboa, and then talk shit to anybody at a sports event that's not wearing a fucking Eagle, Flyer, or Philly jersey. It's like, dude, they're just assholes, and and they're like that everywhere in Philly. Like, they're just there's assholes, and I hate that city. I just
when they won that Super Bowl recently, I just couldn't handle, like, turn off ESPN for for a while. Usually I'm a Raider fan. So usually on Monday I turn off ESPN anyway and SportsCenter, but
when they beat us in the NFC Championship game in 2017, man, that was fucking brutal. That was real brutal. But anyway, let's get back to your list.
Yeah, let's get up.
Yeah, the next one, Uncle Lou. You know, and I got to say,
Islanders, yeah.
Fuck Joe Fano. So first of all, I'm agreeing right away because Joe Fano's an asshole.
He is an asshole.
Wait a minute. I'm Joe Fano.
Not a friend of the show.
Joe Fano.
Not a friend of the show. Not at all.
These guys, I mean, you know, they're burning Tavares jerseys. I get it, but the guy spent like 9 years there. But I get it. But you know, I could see it, right? I mean, I'm more. I guess I have to be honest. I'm more of a I deal with the Ranger fans more growing up, but the Islander fans, I remember them.
No, it's New York.
It's like this small pocket of like their own world out
there.
Yeah,
and like Long Island is just, it's like, I don't know. It's such a weird little part of New York. Yeah, it's like these just it's gross. And the fact that there's even a hockey team there is weird because like there's no like city of Long Island. Like it's just houses and suburban area, and like I don't know, it's just weird. And plus, it's part of New York, so yeah, of course they're assholes.
That's right, Joe Fano. We're talking to you, pal.
All right, who else we got? Where are we?
The next team.
Fano, and I'm right.
The next team I get kind of. I mean, I don't. You know, I got to say the pregame's kind of a little overdone.
Vegas.
And they have just won a Stanley Cup. Yeah, so I can see there's some cockiness there.
I can see them as number one.
They haven't.
I think
suffered,
I know who
right?
number one is.
Yeah, I think we all know. But they haven't suffered enough. You know?
Oh, number one. Oh, who hasn't suffered enough? Vegas?
No, Vegas. Yeah, they've had success. You know, they've been successful.
I'm not going to give them any shit. I'm not going to give Vegas fans any shit. They've only been around for 6 years. How much of an asshole can you possibly be? You guys won the cup. You have room to be assholes. You know, look at what this franchise did. If you were born into being a Vegas fan, you know, you look at your 6 years of existence, you've done nothing but just kick the shit out of all the competition. Those fans deserve to be assholes.
Yeah. Right. Definitely. The next one, you know, I don't really know another team that I actually don't mind the team, Ottawa. I haven't experienced enough with their fans to know they're number 7 on the list.
Okay.
The next one, I have to agree because I have a bunch of friends that are fans of this team and have given me shit since we didn't draft Mario back in the day. You know, obviously Pittsburgh has done a lot of winning. You know, through the Yager, Crosby. Mario days, like they were some cocky bunch of, you know, I know firsthand, so I don't know what you guys dealt with Pittsburgh too much.
You know, back in the day, they would get a nice contingency of Penguin fans showing up at games against the Devils. You know, they'd always come in nice groups and shit. I don't really know.
Yeah, it wasn't overwhelming. It was definitely groups.
Yeah, like I don't remember them really causing any trouble or being assholes. No. But all right, we'll give them that. We'll trust this list.
So now we have 5 left. So remember, guys, so far we did Tampa, Carolina, St. Louis, Jersey, Philly, Islanders, Vegas, Vancouver, Ottawa, Pitt. Okay. So number 5 here. Do you guys want to guess on this, or do you?
All
want
right. Well, I can tell. How about we guess the last 5?
Another 3. Okay. Yeah.
We guess the 5, and then it doesn't matter what order. So I think, Bob, we can kind of agree, right? The Rangers have to be on there.
Rangers have to be there.
Toronto.
Toronto has to be there.
Canadians.
That would actually surprise me just because of our experience, but yeah, I could see how that would make this list.
Yeah, they act like they're the fucking end-all, be-all of hockey. All right, so that's 3. I would say Panthers, but they only have fans when they're good.
Panthers are not on the list, and you're correct.
Yeah, because they only have fans when they're good. L.A. or
Kings,
Dallas,
maybe?
I'm thinking.
Dallas could be a good one.
L.A.'s not on this list, and I got to tell you, L.A., before they started winning, I don't think anybody really... The Kings fans were just showing up and having drinks.
What about Edmonton? Would they be on this list?
They are on this list.
All right, so 5. They're in the top 5. So, right, so we're going to say that Montreal, Toronto, Edmonton, the Rangers, and who's our 5th?
So we need one more.
Yeah.
So I'll give you guys some hints maybe if you want.
All right.
Fans are always bitching.
Well, how are we doing with our 4? Are we on the list?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so we're just missing the one.
That's good.
There's one. So they're always bitching, these guys, and they have been successful. It's an interesting group because they've like I think they've called with players racial slurs. I think they fucked up Sisu Ban eventually at one
Buffalo.
time too. No, not Buffalo.
Nashville.
Oh, it was Buffalo. Who he was playing with?
Boston.
Oh shit!
Duh.
Absolutely.
How do we miss Boston? Yeah.
Of course.
Boston Bruins.
Oh.
Yeah, Boston Bruins.
Shame on us.
I know, right? They might even be one.
I know that's rough.
I have to apologize. I did miss one, guys. Number 8 which I was actually in this city when they played Boston in the playoffs that year, in 2011, and we left like 3 days before the riots. Was Vancouver's on that list? And I can tell you what, when I got to Vancouver, when I went to go change in my money, they told me, they said, "Listen, if the Canucks win tonight, go out, you'll have a blast. If they don't win tonight, stay in your hotel." Yeah, and don't wear visiting jerseys, they said. So that was I totally skipped over number 8, but you're right. Boston is
public service announcement for all people coming in. Travel advisory to Vancouver tonight. If the Canucks lose the game, lock your doors,
will be turned
crawl
over
into your fucking bed, and find a weapon and pray for your life.
Yeah, we were there that week when they were playing Boston, man. And I remember we got home and back to Florida, and I looked and I said they were rioting. It was just,
Yeah, that's just stupid.
Lost in Game
It's
7.
just stupid. It's a fucking game.
Absolutely
it's a
stupid.
game, dude.
Whether you win or lose, don't burn the fucking cars. Like, there's no reason for it.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's rules to live by right there.
Yeah,
win or lose
for the Uncle Puckers.
Don't burn down your neighborhood.
See, there is positivity on this show.
All right, so I'm going to say
So
that
now
I'm
you're
gonna,
at Boston, number 5. So what's number 4?
all right, no, number 4 is Edmonton.
Yes, Edmonton number 4, which they do ever since they got McDavid. There's a cockiness there, right? But you get it. I mean, they have, but they are number 4 on the list, and we don't deal with too much Edmonton fans as we know.
No, not really.
So that would make the Canadians number 3 because it's got to be dropped in New York.
Oh, really?
Yes, Canadians number 3. On
I was going to have them at number 2.
So now we just got to decide, Chris.
It's
Which
got
I thought
New York number 1, or are we going Toronto?
I'm
going to
go New York, Toronto.
I have to agree.
They think they're the New York Yankees with their history, right? But they're not. And that's
They're not.
the fucking New York Rangers. And we grew up with these guys. I mean, shit, dude. I remember '94. It was like a nightmare to go to school that week when they got eliminated. I always felt like, even as sports-wise, football, baseball, hockey, I always thought the Rangers fans were the biggest assholes in high school and Tom Sugar growing up. And I totally agree, man. They won 1 cup since '94, and they seem to be like looked at like the big brother, and we've won 3. And I always say that it's just it's the Rangers. No surprise. I mean.
Their fans. Yeah, Bob.
I've said this bitterness before, but I mean, it wasn't like their first 3 with almost nobody in the league too. Like I love the original 6. I get it. Like I'm a hockey purist. I love all that, but let's be realistic. Like get past that era and those cups before you really start stacking up to like what you've done in your history. Because if I'm playing against just 5 other teams for 20, 30 years or whatever it is, I mean, that's just a totally different game than 32 teams.
Well,
and I know they won the cup in '94, but remember, if
you
we
just don't yell into the microphone, bud.
Oh shit, dude!
Keep it back a little. There you go.
If we would have won that '94, they wouldn't even have that 1 cup since then. So that was an overtime.
But they do, and their fans are unbearable most of the time. Like they're just unbearable. There are a few Ranger fans, especially older ones, that I can have good conversations with. But the younger ones, you can't have a good conversation with them. As far as, like, if you look at the Stanley Cups of the original 6, the Rangers are dead last. Like, out of the original 6, you don't even have... when there was only 6 teams, you sucked. You weren't as good as you thought you were.
There was 12 teams.
Exactly. Now that there's 32, look, the Rangers can go on a run this year. I can see a world where the Rangers win the Stanley Cup this year. Sure. I just hope to... whatever it is that I pray to, that they don't. That's all. But I could definitely see a world where that happens. They're a good team. I hate that they're a good team.
And you can tell it's not our list, so they'd be number 1. So,
but Toronto fans, I can see being bigger assholes, except for ones that got beer sprayed in their face. They were very nice. But I know as a whole,
maybe they took the bus from like Cherry Hill.
Yeah, maybe they weren't even Canadian. They were just like, no, there's a school bus, dude. We go to school right over here. But they do. They have the biggest contingency of fans, like especially in like Western New York and that area of Canada, and they absolutely live and die by the Maple Leafs. Like their fans they're crazy. Like they just live, die. The sun rises and sets up Brendan Shanahan and those Maple Leafs asses.
I couldn't live like that anymore, man. Like I wasn't joking when I said a couple seasons ago or a couple episodes ago that like regular season games would keep me up at night if we lost. Like back when we were winning just all the time. Like I can't have that kind of dedication anymore, man. That's just crazy.
You realize that, like, it's fun to be into the sports the way we are when we were in our 20s and we were going to a lot of games, whether it was hockey or baseball. And you have a good time and it's fun. And when they lose, you kind of take it personally. And then you kind of grow up and you realize that it's just a freaking game.
And I only take it personally now when I pay to go to the goddamn game.
Well, that's why I don't go to many games. That's the main reason why I don't go to many games.
Hundreds of dollars to see like a blowout loss is very hard to swallow.
Exactly. I'd rather just sit home and then I can just flip the channel if it's a 7-0 blowout.
Put the Vikings on and feel good about yourself.
Me and my wife are paying at least $200 when we go to a game between the two of us.
Right.
That's like it's at least $200. And that's even in. I think in Tampa it was like there was times to go see the Devils where it was like $70 to sit up on the roof.
Why do you think I make such a big deal about opening day for me and the crew to go? Because now we stay over too because we're old as shit, so I can't be like drinking and driving home and anything like that. So we got the hotel, we got the tickets, we got the gas, we got the tolls, we got the fun. Before the beers are $15 now. Like this is no joke. Like I have to save up to do this.
There was nothing better than a playoff game, beautiful weather, driving up to Meadowlands, having $20 tickets for a playoff game, parking for like $7 or $6.
Or get there before 4.
Or get there before 4. And if it was a Saturday night playoff game and it was beautiful outside and we would have 3 or 4 cars, just nice little area, 30 packs of beer, music hacky sack, football, whatever, frisbee, and everybody be us, our girlfriends. Most of our girlfriends are now our wives, but yeah,
Thank God mine back then wasn't.
No, thank God. But we had a lot of fun, and I miss that. And I go up to the Rock, and it's beautiful arena. But it completely takes you away. Like going to bars and they're busy and $20 for a beer and all that. Like no, like being able to tailgate was just one of the best parts about the Devils being there. Like I said, I love the arena, but I'd be going to a lot more games if it was at the Meadowlands still.
I think here that's one thing that kind of sucks for me is like, and that's what's great about like us doing this show together. Like, we all grew up together watching the Devils, and here no one. That's the one, like a double-edged sword. So, say the Raiders get slaughtered the night before, the Devils get their ass kicked. No one fucking knows around here. Mm-hmm. I go out. I'm in Lithuania. I go out. It's just right. Everyone has a Yankee hat on here. Yeah. It's like, everyone's got a fucking Yankee hat. My wife, I always joke with her. I'm like, I guarantee you, they don't know that they lost again last night or they won again, whatever.
They don't even know that
everyone's wearing a Yankee.
These people couldn't pick out New York on a map.
Unbelievable. Everyone's wearing a Yankee hat, but yeah, no one really. So it's kind of funny. It's one thing about here is you're not going to run into a Ranger fan if you get beat the night before here. It's like it's basketball.
Yep.
It's like, but you do miss it, man. I definitely went up to so I was at the games. I was up in Jersey maybe I think 2 seasons ago. And Chris is right. It was I went to Reds, which was a cool place, but man,
I go to Reds every time.
It's not even Reds, so it's not just that place because it's very cool there. It's just pricey to games now, man. If you want my kid was so small at the time when we bought Samantha. I don't even know what it's like now because I just remember it was like it's pretty crazy.
It's pricey as it is. I got to tell you, I mean, you're still way better off at the bars beforehand than buying anything inside.
Oh, absolutely.
Inside is absolutely
and
ridiculous.
they do a really good job with roping off the roads and making it more of a party atmosphere. Everybody's outside. They do a good job, but I miss those days of the Meadowlands and the tailgating.
Oh yeah.
Dude, we even had our spot. We always even knew exactly where we were going to park.
Exactly.
And because we were going, we would go to 10 regular season games and as many playoff games as we can afford, basically, that fit with our schedule. But it would be it was so cool to be Friday night, didn't even plan on it. All of a sudden the phone starts ringing you guys want to go up to a game right now? Because you could do that. You could just buy a ticket last minute and get up there. My jersey was in the car at work in Princeton. I was like, yep, meet you there.
And if you planned a game and, everybody had different work schedules, it's not like we were all driving together. We'd all meet there, and this was before cell phones and shit. But, you knew exactly where to go park. We'd pop a cooler in different spots, whoever was there first, to just make sure that nobody took the spots. And we'd always have the same spots, and we'd have a blast. It was so much freaking fun.
Too, wasn't it?
What's that?
It wasn't pre-pager.
Are you sure?
No, it wasn't pre-pager. No, maybe it was. I don't know. But I do have one thing I want to go over. This is kind of a cool read. This was written by Dan Rice from Pucks and Pitchforks, and it's the New Jersey Devils milestones on the horizon this season. So he went through most of the players and, whatever little personal career milestones they might or definitely will surpass this year. So he writes, when the regular season officially kicks off on October 12th at the Rock against the Red Wings, here are some personal and team milestones that will be in grasp for the Devils. Nico Hischier, 22nd, and Jesper Bratt, 25th, will likely crack the top 20 list of most points in franchise history. Jack Hughes is 41st on the list, 2 points shy of surpassing Taylor Hall's 208 points.
Wow, that was quick.
And with 6 wins this season, Vanacek will pass Johan Hedberg to move into 10th in franchise history. Kevin Ball needs 34 games to reach 100 NHL games. That's a nice little milestone. And he needs 11 points to reach 25 career NHL points. He basically needs 25 points to get to 25 points. Yeah. Nate Bastian needs 37 games to meet 200. He needs 1 goal to reach 25 and 4 points to reach 50 points. Jesper Bratt needs 11 games played to reach 400 NHL games. So he'll definitely break that. And we were at his first game.
Yep.
Yeah, needs 26 assists to reach 200 NHL assists and 14 points to reach 300 NHL points. Hamilton needs 49 games played to reach 800 NHL games.
Wow.
So Hamilton he'll get 1,000 games.
Wow.
Yeah.
He needs 55 points to reach 500 career NHL points. That's a nice milestone. And 13 goals to reach 150 goals, which is nice. But 500 points, that's a nice little milestone. Eric Holla needs 20 games to reach 100 games as a Devil. He needs 19 points to reach 300 career NHL points and 24 goals to reach 150. Nico Hischier needs 19 games played to reach 400 NHL games already. 14 points for 300 NHL points and 23 assists for 200 assists. Jack Hughes needs 56 games to reach 300 NHL games. It tells you how much Nico Hischier's been injured. Needs 13 goals.
Yeah.
13 goals to reach 100 goals. They'll blow that out of the water this year. 80 assists to reach 200 career NHL assists. Everyone's got some nice milestones. Curtis Lazar, he needs 47 for his 500th NHL game. 100. He needs 5 points to make 100 points. 12 goals for 50. Marino needs 47 games for his 300th. 18 points for his 100th point and 32 assists for his 100th assist. And that's basically Timo Meier. 28 games played to reach 500. He needs 70 points for 400 NHL points. 37 goals to reach 200 NHL goals. 33 assists for 200 NHL assists. It's a pretty big year for these guys.
Yeah, and about 20 guys to get their first Stanley Cup.
That would be amazing. Now, how
I'm
many
really
guys?
interested to see how Holla does with the rivalry now, just between Holla and the Hurricanes, because there's a whole thing going on there.
Now, tell us what it is. What is it about them that they don't like Hollow, or he doesn't like them? What tell the audience what's going down with that?
Well, there's a bunch of history when he was with them and he left and stuff, but there was a new thing where I guess a fan supposedly, if I got this correct, gave Holla a bracelet that said the Hurricanes suck. And he was playing golf last week, I guess, and I guess he Twittered a picture of it out, and it just caused up a storm. And there's been a lot of. If you go back last year, I remember when we watched Holla start playing. I was watching some of the old press stuff with him when he was with the Hurricanes, and there's a lot of animosity there. For some reason, he is a guy. He's almost like there's. It got that vibe with the Severson vibe, where the fans just didn't like him at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of got that deal going on. So he is definitely a target in their eye now. And I think it was last week that photo came out. But that just, he actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is a little weird to wear that though when they beat us. So I can see how that's a little.
But it's deeper.
I can see the Carolina fan base getting behind that. And
you can see how he's kind of setting himself up for some shit by doing
They
that.
destroyed us, basically. We tried to make it look good, but in reality,
it didn't look good.
That was not good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I kind of get it. You shouldn't have really tweeted out and get annoyed that you got this shit. You should have expected.
If he's wearing
this
it
shit.
last year during the playoffs, I get it.
Yeah,
cool,
I think he should
for
wear it all the time, and
'Cause
he
he was on
tweeted out
record.
as much as possible.
I don't think he got annoyed though. I don't think he gives a shit. That's what
Good.
he is. Just kind of.
You know,
I remember the interview where he was like, I don't really know why they hate me so much. He's like, I was traded here, and it just didn't work out, and I signed somewhere else after.
So Eric Holla just loves gaslighting Carolina fans and trolling them with fucking Carolina sucks bracelets.
Apparently.
He might now be my favorite Devil. That's awesome. He's like the Jonah Hill of fucking hockey players.
Doesn't take much.
Yeah. I think it's with him, like we were saying. It's not even nothing to do with the Devil. His time with the Devil. This is going way back. This is there's some deep rooted stuff with this guy,
which is awesome. Like if you're a
Cool,
professional,
let's let it ride.
Yeah, like if you're a professional athlete, like to have an opposing team and all of their fans absolutely hate you, like you're doing something right.
Number 22,
Yeah.
Club.
I feel like
Detroit,
that's how
big
Jack
off.
Hughes is working towards the Ranger fans right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
he's really getting under their skin.
Yeah,
taunts them.
It's crazy how
Scores on
much
them
he
constantly.
scored on them. Yeah, like I was watching
Beautiful,
like
beautiful goals.
this little
yeah.
thing at I think the Devils put it out on X or whatever, and it was like just some of like 20 of Jack Hughes' goals last year. You know, it was just like this little collage, and I couldn't believe how many of them were against the Rangers. I was like, "Holy shit, dude! He just scores on them at will." You forget about the little details, but you know,
yeah, the game where he shook the emblem, the Devil's emblem, at the fan through the glass.
Because I could watch that all day.
Yeah, it's awesome. Who do you guys think was? I have to say it was Lemieux with Detroit, with the hit. You know, obviously
the one on Draper.
Was the most. Yeah, what do you think was the most hated, like, a player going into a building, and during our time of watching? Because there's a lot of guys, right? Like, we hate Avery, we hate all dudes, like a lot of those kind of guys. But I
really hated Avery. I mean, Avery was a special kind of scumbag.
He was. That was a different case. He was
And he's in trouble, because remember, he was talking shit about Marty from some problems in Marty's personal life. And now, if you check I won't even mention it, if you go to just Google Sean Avery's name today, and there's a bunch of shit going on with him. He's in some domestic violence bullshit with his.
Yeah, you kind of could see that coming, though. Yeah. You know, just the way he played.
He was totally talking shit about Marty, you know, during that time.
Because you see, Marty just has had this storied career where Sean Avery is nothing but this teeny little footnote. Sean Avery, the only claim to fame he has is that when he fucked with Brodeur, so he has to constantly talk about it. He has nothing else. You think Marty Brodeur goes to bed at night thinking about Sean Avery? No, but I bet you Sean Avery does.
I don't care what your allegiance is to, like, the Rangers. If you're going to actually sit there and listen to a player like Sean Avery try to, like, beat down the accomplishments of Brodeur as being nothing, if you respect that guy as a hockey player for that, you're full of shit.
Exactly.
Because it has no merit.
I felt like
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And if that dude played for us, we would be saying that he's a fucking embarrassment and he should not be, you know, all that. But Ranger fans will stick up for Sean Avery until the day they die.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But no, he's a Bush League piece of garbage. So
but it would have to be Claude, right? I mean, this guy was attacked. Like, it was like you knew it was going to happen. It was like
if you want to say, like, I mean, the fans hated him and the players, I'm sure, hated playing against him. But I'm sure that the players playing against him also respected the shit out of him. Where a guy like Sean Avery, I don't think he had that. I mean, he was
probably a guy that
hated.
His teammates were probably like, "Oh man, shut the fuck up."
You know who I hated playing and I hated seeing on the ice? Maybe the most hated player when I was, you know, back in our 20s and stuff, when it was the Devils and the Maple Leafs were playing every other year. Ty Domi. I absolutely despised Ty Domi. He seems like a wonderful human being. I mean,
I hated him so much. I was like, it's Ty Domi's fault that Niedermeyer hit him in the head with a stick. He hated him.
Remember that? You know, but now,
that's right.
Like, he's always at Devil games for some reason. Like, I feel like he's, even when his son's not playing, like, I feel like he just, I know him and Danico are really close, but he's like always in the stands now and stuff. And they interview him once in a while. And like I said, he seems like a wonderful person, but I absolutely despise him.
Hated him.
Do you guys remember when McSorley hit Broshear in the head with the fucking stick? Oh, I mean, that was insane. But, you know,
that was
Ty Domi.
Didn't he, like, wasn't there talk that Marty McSorley was going to be brought up on charges for that?
Oh, yeah. It was
I remember that.
Deal.
That was a big deal because he almost killed him.
And with Ty, you know, I've always had a place in my heart for those kind of players. But with Ty, I kind of lost a little bit of respect for him recently because he was talking shit about Scott Stevens, saying Scott Stevens was nothing but a pussy. I just
Ty Domi said
this about Scott. Yeah. It was a big thing. Ty Domi said that he never really wanted to go. Basically, he was basically like a fake. You know, and you definitely looked that up. It was a big thing this year.
I do remember that. Yeah.
So I lost
fighting is one thing, but to call
How
I don't like
many
it now either.
cups does Ty Domi have? Yeah.
I think it's a goose egg, right?
I think it's three less than Scott Stevens.
Yeah.
Scott Stevens, yeah. I mean, I kind of lost a little respect for that because, you know, most of these guys, when they retire...
Yeah, I didn't know he said that. That's pretty messed up.
Shit. Especially being tight with Dano, like, you wouldn't think, you know...
Like, that's the captain, dude. That's the captain. Like, you don't talk shit about the captain.
I always fucking hated Messier, of course. You know, how did you not? As a Devils fan, he was like the spokesperson to the, you know... I mean, especially when he called it, which... Like I said, man, one overtime goal different. He would have looked like an ass, but yeah, I mean,
I have to say there was a Ranger though that I met. He was an amazing person, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. No, Brian Leach.
Oh, I was going to say Adam.
Brian Leach was a fantastic person. We had gotten tickets friend of the family, worked for Ronald McDonald House, and Brian Leach does a big charity every year with the Ronald McDonald House, and it was at Rockefeller Center. It was a big auction. John Davidson and Sam Rosen were there. They were doing the auction.
What a duo.
Yeah, exactly. And they were just as bad at the auction. Rod Gilbert was there. Brian Leach was there. A lot of the old Rangers. Tom Pody, Caparitis. And it was at Rockefeller Center. And me and my nephew went, and he was the goalie at the time. And they had the whole ice rink closed for the Brian Leach's charity event. And we were able to skate at Rockefeller Center with all of these Rangers, with nobody else on the ice. I have to say, I do absolutely despise the Rangers, but that was an awesome night. And the whole night I'm going, man, I wish this was the Devils. I really was. I bought my nephew a Ranger jersey so he can get all the signatures. Like, I refused. I was like, my mother was going to get it. She's like, you want me to pick you up one? I'm like, why? So I can burn it? No, I don't want you to. But he has it up in his room to this day, and it is signed by so many old Rangers. It's very, very cool. Brian Leach was awesome. Super. Taking pictures, talking to everybody there. Like, just a good dude.
I've met Brian Leach, and he's a great player. He made a '96 Olympic team.
Brian
was
Leach.
awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was
there was
good,
a couple
man.
guys. Adam Graves was cool. There was a few dudes I had met when I was younger that were, it was just like I said, the guys like Messier stand out to me because it was just not. He wasn't even fan friendly.
No, we
Brian
talk
Leach,
about.
yeah.
I mean, we still
Much
talk
props.
about Messier now when he's on ESPN and stuff. And yeah, he just looks like he's pissed off all the time. Like, he looks like that man has never had a fun day in his life. He
He's
just
a
seems
bald
like
eagle.
a dick. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I think we're going to wrap it up for the night. Dan,
thank God.
Dan said he was going to try and pop on, but I guess he got jammed up down there. He was going to try and do a quick call in, but we'll get him next time. He'll be back soon. Guys, listeners, thank you so much for checking us out. And remember, wherever you're listening to us, give us 5 stars. Give us a thumbs up rating. Tell a friend. Subscribe. Go to the YouTube channel. Subscribe. That really helps us promote the podcast. For Tony, Bobby, I'm Chris. Thank you guys so much for listening. We're just going to cut it off because we don't have the outro Dan does. So we'll see you when we see you.
Bobby, sing for us.
Sing for us, Bob.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. It's over, Johnny.
Whoa.
It's over. All right. That was a good show, guys. That was
Is it
fun.
over?